So it allows us to massage the lower abdominal area and allows us to strengthen the transverse abdominis muscle on the exhale. Remember that big belt buckle muscle that we had as part of our core. Okay, now come up into sitting. So you guys able to feel that? And you can do it sitting upright now. Try it sitting upright. You probably feel that the inhale is a little bit more passive and the exhale feels more active.
What does ujjayi breath
Can
mean?
we stay with one thing? For now, okay. So can you feel how in belly breathing your rib cage doesn't move? Some of you are still struggling to find belly breathing. You don't yet have the control. Sit up tall. There's a whole lot of sloppiness going on here. And I can see when you're belly breathing that your rib cage doesn't move. And you can look at me if you don't believe it. Look at the difference between a belly breath and look if I keep my bandas engaged, my diaphragmatic breath. My belly's not moving. Okay. Who was not able to find that? You'll feel it a little bit down here, okay? But you're not feeling your rib cage move. Now some of you might not have the level of rib cage expansion yet that perhaps I do, okay? I had to change my whole bra size when I started pranayama. Unfortunately not the top. I had to change this part of my bra because my chest actually got so much broader from the pranayama. And you look at Iyengar, who's a pranayama king. It's like
got a huge cavity.
Huge chest. He's got massive, massive lung volume. So I know in the beginning it's a little hard to teach pranayama because you need to be at a level in your practice really to be able to experience this. But we're working towards it because I want you guys to start trying to find this in your own personal practice. Okay? So yesterday we were looking at trying to find the breath in the 3 parts and 3 dimensionally. So bottom back ribs, finding the back of the rib cage moving. Then the second part was the side ribs. Okay, that's the lateral movement of the rib cage. And then in the upper chest, that was the vertical movement. Okay, because our rib cage is designed to move 3-dimensionally. And this becomes really important, not so much when we're in relaxed breathing. You might have noticed just in your natural breath there was a little bit of movement in the belly, a little bit of movement in the ribs, not as much as belly breathing. You weren't belly breathing in your relaxed breathing yesterday, but you weren't doing that 3-part breath, okay? This 3-part breath is most strongly experienced when we engage Mula Bandha. So now someone tell me, what was the purpose of Mula Bandha?
To draw that energy from your pelvic floor all the way up.
On an anatomical movement level, on a really gross level, what was the function of Mula Bandha? To stabilize what? So the lower back and the pelvic area. Okay, it's to bring support to the lower back during movement. Okay, so when we're bending forward and up and side bending and rotating, we need to keep our core engaged. Okay, that's what Mula Bandha is. It's core engagement in asana. Okay? So if our lower belly is now contained in like this, in other words, our transverse abdominis is engaged, the pelvic floor muscle is lifting, the deep multifidus is working, and this whole area is brought in for stability. Where am I going to breathe? Here. Okay? So this is why we have to have proper movement of the rib cage when we breathe, because we will be moving, maybe fast, maybe in a very athletic manner. We'll be coming up and down from warrior one, we'll be twisting, we'll be jumping through, we'll be doing handstands, okay? Jump backs to chaturanga. You've got to have your core engaged, okay? Otherwise things are going to get really loose in your lower back and your shoulder girdle. So the only place left to breathe is here. And if our rib cage is stuck down and we firmed here for support and this guy is stuck, how much are we going to be able to breathe? Not very much, okay? This is going to deplete all of our energy in our practice. So asana is actually there to support better breathing, a more direct experience of the breath, and therefore prana to move the breath. Asana is not just there to do some physical exercise because I want to get a yoga butt or a six-pack belly, or okay? Asana has a function. It is preparing the body for pranayama. Okay? So we have to learn how to move the rib cage correctly in this three-dimensional manner while engaging the bandhas. Okay? And this is where Ujjayi breath comes in. So Ujjayi breath means, as I said earlier, victoriously rising. It's often quite badly taught by teachers in a class. They say, make the sound of Darth Vader. They will just sound like in the process of their death throes. Okay? Some people create a sound when you breathe, a sighing sound or a hissing sound when you breathe. Okay? A lot of teachers ask you to make the sound far too loud. Okay? Ujjayi breath is not a loud breath. It's a very soft, subtle breath. You'll hear it very clearly. And if your neighbor's close to you, they will hear it too. Okay? But Ujjayi breath is the sound the breath makes when the bandhas are engaged and we are doing this diaphragmatic breathing. Okay? And what Ujjayi breath does is we breathe in and out the nose in Ujjayi breath, but we experience it in the throat, in the back of the throat. And the way that we create the sound of the Ujjayi breath is we partially close the back of the throat with the root of the tongue. Like you're trying to, you can kind of do it, like you're trying to yawn with your mouth closed, or you're trying to fog up a mirror. That sound familiar? Okay? And what it does is it closes the aperture in the throat. Okay, so it closes the amount of space that the air can travel through. And so this makes the breath long. Okay, because the aperture gets smaller, so the breath can become more concentrated. It becomes longer, it becomes slower, and it becomes more powerful. Okay? So how have you been taught how to do Ujjayi breath in the past?
I've never really been taught, but I've heard a lot, like make the sound of the ocean or like Darth Vader. So,
So you're saying to breathe into your mouth closed and your throat